What a cold one today, boys. I don't know how cold it is. Feels like it's flipping 10 degrees outside, but is what it is. We're back at the shop. We're gonna get some stuff done. Gonna go ahead and drain the fuel out of Jose's car. It's got some 91 octane that's probably, I don't know, a few months old. Drain that out, and we're gonna put some E85 in it. We got a base map on the car, so it starts up no problemo. Fixed up the random misfire issue. So we're gonna go ahead and throw some ethanol in it and get the base map on it. Hopefully get it to the dyno shortly after that. So stay tuned for that, and here we go. But first, I gotta get Jose's car out of where it's at. Last night we had a very eventful thing go down, but we won't talk about that. I'm gonna have to move all this stuff out of the way, all this stuff out of the way, clear a path, pull it out, and then back onto the lift. I should have just left it on the lift last night, but I was ambitious. Anyways, we're gonna do that now. We're gonna start moving some stuff around and hopefully get this thing back on the lift and get some fuel swapped out. Alright, now that we got this thing in the air, we're going to go ahead and pop the plug on the bottom of the tank here. I believe that's a 17 millimeter bolt plug. We're going to drain, it's got like a little less than half a tank in it, so I'm fairly certain in these two pails we can get most of that out, put it in a disposable canister so we can throw that in like a pressure washer or something like that. Recycle everything. That's what we're gonna do right now, and hopefully get some not so dirty fuel out of this thing, because that would be kind of a bummer. All right, now we got it filled up with E85. Fuel system's tight, no leaking, nothing like that. We're gonna go ahead and tackle, it's got a little drip from the radiator still, the drain plug. So I'm gonna go ahead and quick pop that out, fix that leak, and then start her up, finish up the base map, and we're gonna go ahead and try to schedule a dyno tune appointment with Hunter Tuned, and hopefully get this thing on the rollers and make some jam. There we are. So unless it's coming out of these, which now I'm starting to suspect, we are a little bit wet right here as well. Got a little bit of coolant on my fingers, but I'm gonna go ahead and, for shits and grins, I'm gonna RTV some bolts, brake clean these threads out. I'm gonna throw a couple bolts in here because maybe, just maybe, someone had thrown bolts in these at one time and the bolts are too long and maybe it punctured the core. So because it definitely looks like it's coming out of right here and right here. If it was just the drain plug, it would just kind of pull up right here and then drip, but since we have obvious buildup on both of these now that I wiped them off with my fingers, that's what I'm thinking. We'll go ahead and touch up those two, this guy, and then throw a new O-ring in here because you can see it's all cracked, dried, and brittled. Hopefully that solves that. I'm going to clean off all this extra stuff with some brake clean and some air. We'll see if it leaks anymore after that. Okay, so we got the drain plug all sorted out, and as you can see, I'm covered head to toe in coolant. Nice little patch on the ground. Got that installed, and I'm about to clean it off right now, and hopefully we got no leaks. All right, clean all this off here. New gasket. We're gonna snug it up just a little bit more, and then yeah, we should be good to send her on its way. The only thing I noticed about that drain plug is it feels kind of iffy, the threads, because the bolt itself, the plug itself, is plastic. I tried throwing some Teflon tape on it the best that I could one-handed, because obviously I had to stick one arm up onto the radiator to plug it, and then the other hand I used to swap the O-ring out, put some Teflon tape on it, got them nice and tight. But like I said, I tighten it up, and then the bolt itself wants to, like, you know, not skip a thread, but it wants to pop a thread off on one side. So I balanced it a little bit, and it's not leaking right now, but when the system's pressurized, we'll really be able to see. Worst case scenario, we're just gonna have to slap a new radiator in this thing. As of right now, E85 leaks are fixed. Anyways, I forgot what I was saying. Leaks are fixed. Ethanol's in the system, so we're gonna lower it down, put a base map on it for the ethanol, and let it warm up, bleed the system, make sure everything's good to go, and hopefully later tonight or tomorrow we will get this thing on the rollers. All right, boys and gals, we are on our way back to our shop. We're gonna go ahead and pick up the Integra, go over it, make sure, you know, it warms up, no further leaks have occurred, anything like that, and we're gonna drive it over to Hunter's and hopefully make some good jam. So here we go. All right, so we're now pulling out of the shop. We have Jose's car. Yes, we are driving it to the dyno. We definitely like to do that. Well, I do anyway. Not for the pure enjoyment of driving these things, but mainly just for the reason of test driving it, making sure everything's kosher before we get to the dyno. And since this is a fresh engine, I'd like to get a little miles on it, a little something. So that just ensures, other than a test driver on the block, that everything is kosher and rock solid before it hits the rollers for Hunter. It saves him time and headache, and it helps us with, you know, back and forth and, you know, working on stuff and this, that, and the other. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna drive this thing over there. When I get there, we'll do a little filming and yeah, hopefully get some exciting shots of this thing. Got it. So, blew a little coupler. Get that all tidied back up. Should be ready to rock. Holy fucking curve. 317. Bit of a hiccup. It seemed to run out of fuel, but we're gonna make some changes, watch the fuel pressure, and see what we can do. Alright, so fuel seems to be okay. We're going to add a little more fuel into it and then see if we can't maintain a good AFR up top. About 7K RPM, it wants to kind of lean out just a hair. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Go for one final rip and see if we can get ourselves a solidified number. Fuel tables look good. We made 386. I noticed it is dripping a little bit of coolant from that drain plug on the radiator, but fuck it. So the finish number was it 416?
Yeah.
Nice little curve on it. And we got 416.86 at 314 foot-pounds of torque. Is that RPM, like, accurate?
No, because the trans is so short. It's only saying we won 7 grand, but in the car it was almost on the limiter at 82.
Yeah, okay.
Because the trans is, I think
So-
we're getting a little bit of wheel spin.
Yeah, it must be some sort of B16, not really a GSR trans.
Yeah, or maybe it's got GSR gears, but different final drive or something.
Right, something. Nonetheless, it made the 400 plus, and hopefully this thing is finally done, over with, and Mr. Jose is satisfied. We are back at the shop. Jose's car made it. It ran great. It ran fine. So he shouldn't have any issues with it. I got to do an oil change on it, so we're going to go ahead and throw some VR1 2050 oil in it, a new OEM Honda oil filter, and that coolant drip doesn't seem to be dripping. So I don't know if that was just excess pressure of the coolant system on the dyno or what it was, but it did drip a couple drops on the dyno, I noticed, and it's not doing that now. So, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Other than that, I did notice on the highway under some good load, like the bottom of 4th gear, it was hitting boost cuts. So before I do have them come pick this car up, I'm going to see what I could do about potentially fixing that, and then go from there. But as far as anything else goes on this thing, it should be good to go, should be ready to rock. It made over 400, no problem. Basically on a wastegate, and that was like 13 pounds of boost. Is what we were seeing on the dyno, I believe it was. But this thing wanted to spike a little bit and it hit boost cut getting onto the highway. So, yeah. With that being said, man, that pretty much wraps up this video. This was a very long and experience-filled endeavor. I'm really glad I got to work with it. It gave me a lot of headache, but at the end of the day, it was a fun project, and I got to build the whole engine in it, and I love seeing my work do what it does on the dyno, and, you know, see the joy it brings the people that I do it for. So anyway, until the next video, that is it for now. I appreciate you guys watching, liking, and subscribing, of course. It definitely helps us out. So, on that note, until next time.